Welcome back to another episode of the King's Pulse podcast presented by the King's Herald. My name is Brendan Nunez. We're live on location we're not live actually, but we are on location in Las Vegas here with Chris Watkins and Franklin Cartoscelli of Sacktown Sports 1140. What's going on,
Changing
fellas?
the game.
Yeah. How you doing, Frank?
I'm good, man. Thanks for coming with us. Thanks for stowing away with us on our Vegas trip. We're happy to have you. It's been a lot of fun, honestly. It's been our first Vegas experience. I'm happy we got to do it together, us three. We are the guys who spend probably the most time together during the season, the three of us. So I'm happy we get to do it here in Las Vegas, man.
Yeah, very excited. It's been a really fun weekend. One of the more fun weekends I can remember having. So, thank you guys for just being great.
No problem. Wow.
Great buddies.
Yeah. Are you doing okay, Chris?
I'm doing good. I've had a few too many good and plenties on this trip.
Yeah. Anybody watching on YouTube, I always forget to say this at the beginning of pods. Anybody watching on YouTube, we are passing a mic between us here. The Vegas setup is not the typical at-home setup as expected, and totally good. Shout out Chris and Frank for getting this whole setup working here for me. But anybody watching on YouTube will see us passing a mic between us, just so as an FYI, and if there's any little bit of differences with the audios going on here, but that is what we're dealing with. I think we're gonna should we start with Vegas stories? I guess we're talking a little bit about Vegas being a good time at the beginning here. Should we start with this?
Sure. Why not?
Because I do have it like an overtime ending type thing. Let's just start with like most random people that we've ran into. The Kings guys are obvious. The Kings players as of right now, but who are some of the most random people that we ran into, or just names that stand out that we ran into here?
Yeah, I've had my head on a swivel just about every single place we've gone, and so I feel like we've seen every like random instance that we saw Dwight Powell playing craps, I think. That was pretty random. Me and Brendan saw Eric Gordon just casually walking through a casino. I think we mentioned Alex Len
walking in with his crew.
That was super random.
Obviously, my like not a story, but my instance was we were walking out of the concourse on what was that, Saturday? Was it Saturday?
Yeah.
And we were watching the end of the was it OKC Houston game?
Yeah, it was OKC Houston.
And I just felt this like presence behind me. Like, I don't like people in my personal space. I mean, who really does, right? And this person was like literally like on my shoulder. And it was a tall person, and I was just like, what the hell do you want? Like, do you want to go around me? Do you want to get past me? What do you want? And before I could really see who the guy was, and again, credit to Chris for having his head on a swivel the whole time, I didn't get a good look at him. And he turned and walked away with a couple of his crew as well. And Chris looks at me and says,
that was a pizza guy. No,
that was a pizza guy.
I was like, dude, that was Ben McLemore. Like, Ben McLemore was just like casually over your shoulder, just swarming you.
What do you want?
It was so weird.
It was Ben McLemore. So it's just stuff like that. Obviously, we said on our podcast, we just recorded like, 10 minutes ago. Our welcome to Vegas moment was sitting on courtside for Kings Magic. And who comes and sits right in front of us? Well, two people come and sit right in front of us. One, the first person we see is LA Clippers owner Steve Ballmer.
Billionaire.
Who is there for whatever reason. And then the logo himself, Jerry West.
Yeah, insane. To me, sitting next, I'm a huge, I really enjoy basketball history. And, sitting next to Jerry West it was out of body. It was absolutely insane. I mean, that fool obviously got a rough cut in HBO's Winning Time. But that dude is, he's the logo, obviously, which speaks volume in itself. But, he's like not originator of basketball. Obviously, George Mikan was huge before him, but he was like the first massive star in the NBA. And obviously, the NBA wasn't nearly what it was today. But Jerry was the man played with Wilt Chamberlain. Literally, the man was was maybe the best player, second best player with Wilt Chamberlain.
He's the
like
logo.
the amount of history that entails, and obviously winning time goes through the amount of influence he's had with those Laker teams. Obviously the Warriors credit a lot of their picks and success to Jerry West. Just an insane moment of my life.
It was one of those things I didn't quite realize how crazy it was until you kept saying how crazy it was. Yeah, it was definitely a wild experience. And then after we walked through the tunnel,
Wait, we were in the video.
We were in the video. There is a video on NBA TV that they're shooting Jerry West, asking him apparently who his favorite player is of all time. I think is what the video was.
The question literally could have been like, "What's the saddest moment?"
Of your life. We knew we were at the back of this video, Chris and I, so we'd start pointing at random shit and acting like we're really having a great time and saying the funniest things. And it was great that we got comments on Twitter of what were you guys laughing at and what was your response? Ourselves in the future. Yeah. Yeah, so it was there's a whole lot of random experiences in Vegas.
Can I say you guys were on TV and not that it's about me,
you can barely be out of picture.
I was next to you guys in every instance, and the two things that stuck out were there was like a picture on Twitter of you guys are in the background on the Pacers game at Cox Pavilion, and then the Jerry West thing. And I've had someone text me like, I saw you, but I've never seen an image, because every single time I watch a highlight of those games, I see Chris and Brendan's domes in clear view of the camera, and there's the basket, the NBA Summer League logo, and no Frank. But you know what? Not about me. Team player. Happy for you guys. Stoked for both of you.
Really sounded.
I sound like Matt at the casino the other night. What a transition.
Oh man. I forgot to mention at the beginning, by the way, that this is a back-to-back after your guys' pod. So shame on me for not already mentioning this. But the first majority portion where we actually talk about the players and their production and the things that are actually matter for basketball stuff was all on your guys' pod. So obviously everybody check out Return of the Roar, Chris and Frankie. And that was recorded right before this one. We can get into, I guess, the little
Brendan's best night of his life.
My Vegas experience. I wanted to say hi to Tyrese at the Indiana game, but everybody's going up to him, and I just I'm not trying to act like I'm somebody, I don't know. Yeah, Chris, I appreciate it, man. No, so I don't know. I didn't see a great moment to say what's up to Tyrese or anything in the Indiana game, and coincidentally, we ran into him a little bit later.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah, go ahead, Frank.
You gotta set it up.
A little background. We have a nice dinner, nice $60 burgers. It's Vegas, we're off to a
$40 burgers, $20 fries.
We're off to a roaring start, and Brendan he's a newbie. He's a young guy. Chris and I are a couple years older than Brendan, and this is his first Vegas experience.
Never gambled in my life.
Never been to a casino. So we go out with it's us and our friend Matt George, and we go out and we're gonna try to have Brendan put down a couple bets. So Matt and I don't have a great time. We do not win. We decide to take a seat and let our new friend have some beginner's luck, and boy, did he have some beginner's luck. What were you playing? You're playing
talent and skill, Frank. I calculated all of those moves.
Card counter. But
Brendan, what do I gotta do?
Brendan obviously does great on the blackjack table off the gates. Obviously, and Matt mostly is just completely discombobulated. Matt had a bad weekend. He was very upset that Brendan automatically got the success he wanted. So Brendan just says, okay, let's go check out roulette. Brendan goes to roulette, more than doubles his money. Incredible. You more than doubled your money.
More than doubled my money.
More than doubled your money.
50%, yeah.
100%. So as we're kind of just walking around, and because Brendan just kept going. Brendan would keep, if you know how to gamble, Brendan just kept going and going and going. And Chris, who is a anti-gambler.
Notice how when you said you and Matt lost money, I didn't bet any money because I don't like losing money. Because losing money is dumb as hell. Can I curse on here?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Fuck. That's
no
it.
point to that curse, though.
No.
Just can't curse. You just had to get that one out. Yeah.
Just really,
Refreshing.
I just had to sit that in.
Yeah.
Had to get that out. But Chris the whole time was behind Brendan. Just no, just don't, don't.
Yeah.
Pull it out, bro. Pull it out.
No,
Pull out. Just kept saying pull out.
His pull-out game was so weak, bro. I was like,
Pause. And credit to you, Brendan. Credit to you for not giving up. Because if you listen to Chris,
Once I had my winnings, I was just only betting with my winnings. I was very tempted to put it all on one color on my last thing and get out of there, but I restrained myself. And to Matt George's credit, Matt did predict the exact number right before.
that broke Matt, by the way.
it completely shattered.
Next time you have him on this podcast, you need to talk to him about that because he broke. He said it's going to be 13 black. And as the ball is going around, I was watching Matt's reaction. I wasn't watching the ball land. I just watched him go from just like looking to walking away and going, he's like, I said I wasted 5 years of luck on this idiot. Like, just, I can't believe I wasted 5 years of luck on something like that. Anyways,
I didn't even know that he got the number right because I just put it on black. So I was just watching like, oh yes, landed on black. And I looked over and I was like, whoa, what happened over here?
you said when the ball was going around, Matt said 13, and you said for Keegan Murray.
For Keegan Murray.
Keegan Murray's number 13. So Keegan Murray was on your side, man.
What number's Keon Ellis? I'm going to go put everything down tonight.
Act like he did 34.
34.
Come on.
You know
Paul Pierce.
You look like you have a Keon Ellis jersey.
No.
But we honestly finally say, okay, you know what? You quit while you're ahead. You need to take your money out.
had been saying
we have to
quit while
go
you're ahead.
for a while. It's time to go.
If I would have stopped earlier when Chris told me to, I wouldn't have won any money. So
it's time to go. So we go to cash out. We'll go to cash out. And again, credit to Chris for having his head on a swivel. All day, Brendan and I, we talked about, did you see Ty? Didn't get to see Ty. He was there for the Pacer game. It's the end of the night. I think it's like after midnight or close to midnight at this point.
it's pretty late for Frank.
And who does Brendan see, or Chris see, standing by himself by the cash out counter? Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, the one and only. Yeah, I think I was laughing and joking around, and Chris was like, "Yo, get your shit together."
No, I literally
Tyrese
told you,
right there.
you need to stop talking. Because, like, they were talking still about, like, Brendan winning, and I was like, I don't care about Brendan winning. Like, you guys, like, Brendan, stop talking to Matt about trying to talk him off the ledge. Like, look to your right. Mm-hmm. And they're sitting in bottom five
Ready to
outfit
check
that
out
I've seen
a
all
bottom
weekend.
5 outfit. You were on his ass for this outfit, dude. The outfit was not that bad.
It was really just his hat. I'm telling you, it was his hat. He had his hat, like, up and, like, to the side. And I was like, what is
He looked
my
like he
guy
just
doing?
lost money, but he did confirm that he just won money. So
Undisclosed amount of money.
yeah.
Yeah, so
No, it was pretty
just a really great 15 minutes. I mean, you went from pulling out money to winning, I think, 3 of 5 blackjack hands or so. You got 2 blackjacks also.
Might have been 2 of 4.
Yeah.
I didn't have that crazy of luck.
I didn't think it was that crazy. It was insane that it just so happened to continue to roll on, but I mean,
I think
you got 2 blackjacks, which is fairly lucky.
You're so new and just so like, I want to go again. It's like, hey, Chris knows, I know, I don't gamble that much in casinos because I suck.
I don't either. I just have friends who lose a lot of money.
Oh, for sure. Me too. But I think you don't really realize how lucky you got because not many people walk out of there with 150% gain, okay? I'd say there's a small percent of people who walk into a casino who go out with more than double their money. So bless you, son, for having the greatest night in the greatest 20 minutes because that is luck. Out of every casino in every corner in every crevice of this city, Tyrese was right there. You were meant to say what's up to him.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. We definitely didn't stalk him all the way to the hotel or anything
absolutely
like that.
not.
No. I said that as a joke. It sounds like we were actually stalking him.
We
were
weren't.
not.
We
stalking
really
Tyrese.
weren't. No.
Absolutely factual.
It was
But-
very random.
But kind of get back on like to the Vegas. That's what Vegas is like, though. We walk. No matter where you walk, there was somebody. There was somebody everywhere. I think on our podcast we said we saw Dwight Powell playing craps. We saw.
You mentioned Ben McLemore.
A lot of Duke guys walk. We saw Emil Jefferson walking down the casino.
Alex Len.
We saw a lot of people walking around. So it just was chance.
It definitely was. Yeah. It was an interesting experience. I might go lose the money I made tonight, or
I'm
we'll
not.
see if
I
the
will
luck-
not.
we'll
I
see
will
if
not
the
be
luck
there.
sticks.
Yeah, you're gonna be.
I think you guys are both lying and going to be there.
We have an early flight tomorrow. You want to lose your money? You're gonna lose it by yourself.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
You go lose that
Maybe Sean
yourself.
Cunningham will actually hang out with me one of these nights.
Yeah, there you go.
Sean admitted it on King's Beat. I love you, Sean. All right, let's get to the actual players and I guess basketball that we're technically here for. We talked about a lot on the Return of the Roar pod that we just did, your guys' segment on of the play of these guys, and obviously they've been phenomenal, but if anybody wants to hear more like analysis and how we felt about their play, definitely go check that one out. I wanted to ask you guys about the personality of these players, primarily Keegan Murray, Keon Ellis, Neemias Queta, Nemi, whatever, and Jordi Fernandez. I'm going to have it as, let's each drop one word that we think is the most representative of the personality of these players, because we've been around them a lot, Vegas, Cal Classic as well here, and I think that they all have a little bit of interesting personalities. Let's start with the most obvious, and I didn't give you guys too much heads up on the one word.
You definitely didn't.
No, which was somewhat intentional, that maybe I could have given you longer. I also didn't put that much time into it. I do admittedly have one written down for each person right here.
This guy.
I wrote it down like right before we did this.
Cheating.
It is cheating.
Whatever.
All right.
Having the answer to a test. Before.
And
Okay. Keegan
you go
Murray.
first.
Let's start with the highlight Keegan Murray. One word on his personality.
his personality.
On the personality. And that can show on the court too. And you could take that in whatever direction you want. I'm going with monotone.
I think we're all going to have similar vibe here.
He's so boring, dude. To be honest, which is fine. Which is fine. I think he treats media as like something that he has to do.
For sure.
That's part of it. He snuck out after he hit one of the biggest shots in Summer League history. This is as big as it gets, boys.
Welcome to your Marvin Bagley moment.
Yeah, you were so fucked up for
stop
that,
it.
dude.
Stop it.
Keegan hits the shot, and Chris instantly is like, "That's his Marvin Bagley moment." And it's
dropping
like,
that name.
dude, come on.
Dropping that name on this podcast right now is uncalled for.
Hey, man. I just call him how I see him. That's all I got to say.
The worst.
My word would be stoic, for sure. I mean, I think now I'm getting lost on which podcast we talked about, but we just talked about how Keegan just shows little to no emotion, never gets too high, never gets too low. He hits the game winner. He does celebrate for sure, but he's not acting like he just won an NBA championship or, just casually during the game. He plays good defense, ticky-tack fouls, call doesn't go his way, monotone, goes right to the next play, doesn't really show much emotion, and that's for sure a desired quality is staying straightforward, understanding what it is that you're here for, and how many times do people, we went through DeMarcus Cousins' years of too much emotion. People complain about Luka Doncic complaining too much about fouls. Not saying that Keegan Murray's the next Luka Doncic, but just definitely the vibe from Keegan Murray is a very quiet, stoic kind of guy.
What is it? A gecko that blends in with like its environment? Like if you put a gecko, a chameleon. Put a chameleon.
That caught me really off guard.
My word is chameleon because he's a guy who just blends in. Like he just kind of meshes in with everyone and everything, and kind of you lose him within it all. And that's a good thing because the Kings have had a lot of personalities over the years, and I don't know if that's necessarily a fantastic thing. I mean, Marvin Bagley wasn't really a personality, but his daddy was. And then when you look at, the daddy thing, that's a little mean. Sorry, Marvin
Father.
Marvin Dadley. Marvin Dadley. No, but that wasn't great. Buddy Hield had a personality, and I think that was kind of a bad thing at the end because I think one of the biggest issues last year was there were a couple players didn't want to be here. Having a player come in like Keegan Murray, who is so cool and calm with everything and goes with the flow, seeing him on the floor not even get worked up over an accidental step out of bounds call or a bad pass, his face just remains the same. That big shot he took, we were joking about how he didn't really show much of emotion, or the one that really we joked about was, which I think we said on our podcast like an hour ago, the chase down tap off someone's leg, and he just said, that's our ball, and just did like the Kawhi Leonard point. So that's kind of cool to me, having a guy that can blend in and just be a part of any situation, any team setting. And that's what the Kings need right now. They need a lot of guys that can fit with Sabonis and fit with Fox and aren't going to come in expecting to be the number one option and just kind of think they're going to take everything over.
So to be clear, your word was daddy.
My word was daddy.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Dad Lee.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah.
Just had to clarify.
Yeah. Okay, so we went through Keegan. Keegan.
Stop, okay. Can we address this real quick?
Address what? There's nothing to be addressed. What do you mean?
What are you talking about?
Dude, is we know who your favorite rookie is now.
Who is it?
Starts with a K and it ain't Keegan.
Are we sure? I don't know. I'm trying to think of another rookie that starts with K, and I'm Keon Johnson, not rookies. Yeah. I love Keon Ellis. Like, I'm not ashamed.
Is that what we're doing right now?
Huh?
Are we on to Keon Ellis?
Yeah,
now?
Keon Ellis, and my word is GOAT.
I thought it was gonna be lover.
No, my word I think is disruptive. Okay, no, if we have to do personality.
Wait, what? Oh, okay.
No,
in a good way.
Because we have to do personality. Yeah. I'm not looking at my notes for the sake of you guys, just so you know.
You
I have
absolutely
a word
should.
Somewhere written down there. I'm gonna go with fearless. Because Keon has no issues taking the shots that are in front of him. He's not somebody that's gonna call his own number or anything, and he could give a damn who it is that he's guarding, and he's gonna get all up. I'm really close to saying some wrong words here and trying to balance this. He's somebody that is very good at pressuring the ball, and you guys need to chill.
I'm trying to figure out what you're trying. What you think you're.
I heard that it was going the wrong way in my head, and I had to pivot, and I did a horrible job.
Put this on us.
Yeah, I'm going with fearless for Keon Ellis.
I don't know. I'm not very good at the English writing, but I think this is a conjunction. My word is got that dog in him, and that's how I feel about Keon. It's just he is fearless. He's ruthless. He is just an absolute terror defensively. It seems like he really. I think Jason asked him in his interview today. With Keon, is there anyone that you've always imagined you're playing in the NBA? Who's that guy that you're thinking about guarding, and that when you dream of this? He's like, I honestly have never thought about that, and I just think he's out there and he's like, look, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do it well, and he's 100% got that dog in him, and it doesn't really matter who's across from him. He is going to get in you and make sure that you feel his presence, and I mean, he's just he's.
We heard it, Frank. We heard it.
He is stuck out. He is stuck out to me in a major way. I'm not afraid of words.
He's gonna do what? He's gonna do what?
He's gonna
get in you.
He's gonna get in you.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna make sure that you feel him and.
My wording was almost he gets in your shorts. Like when you're playing defense. No, we didn't have to.
Sorry, what was that?
No.
Okay.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Got that dog in him, fearless.
You guys are off the rails today, man. I'm staying in the bug category. I'm gonna stay in the bug category, and my word is gnat, because you don't get a gnat that's like all over you and you can't get it off, and it's like you're swatting at it because it's bothering you. He just bothers people, and you use the word disruptive, and that kind of is like what a gnat is. A gnat is disruptive. The ones that get in your ear and go, like those things. Ugh. I hate them, and I think that people that are being defended by Keon Ellis are going to hate him at every level. That could be the G League. It could be hopefully down the line in the NBA if the Kings can form him into a rotation piece. But right now, in the Summer League, I've been very, very encouraged by what I've seen of your favorite players. So
I hope you're committing to this animal bit for the next.
Oh, I will. I have a wide catalog of bugs and things that are. I hate bugs, so I just know a lot about them because I try to avoid them. But who likes bugs? If you like bugs, you're weird.
Yeah,
man.
no, it's true. It's true. It's true.
You can't like bugs. I'm sorry.
No, Marvin Bagley likes bugs.
What?
What? No, I don't actually know that.
Sources confirm.
Yeah, sources can confirm. Can confirm. Okay.
Are we recording?
Neemias Queta. No, we're not recording anything.
By the way, we've had nothing to drink today.
Yeah.
No.
What time is it? I can't even.
Pretty early.
12:30.
That's kind of insane.
Yeah. I haven't even watched Robert Woodard yet today, so.
Okay, you take the microphone from me.
Neemias Queta. This one's tough because his personality is he's one of the people we talk to a little bit less, I think. I went with soft spoken. It's really, I mean, maybe it's because when we're talking to him in scrubs, you
took my
cannot
word.
hear him.
This is as somebody who is filming the scrums, Neemias is an absolute nightmare. As someone who is 7 feet tall, you have his. I don't want to get his weight wrong. I don't want to insult him. 245 pounds, a large human being, has a very deep voice. Is kind of just like talking like this.
He's kind of like Shaq. And
doesn't,
Shaq has a soft voice too.
Yeah.
It's kind of Shaq-esque.
But like he just doesn't project, and so like he's just always like kind of whispering, and like obviously we're in summer league, and there's not dedicated areas for press conferences, and we're like separated by curtains, and so you couldn't hear a single word he said in his interview. So soft spoken definitely works. Sorry, take your mic.
My word is. It's kind of a cop-out because he's 7 feet tall. Giraffe.
But hell yes, an animal.
But giraffes are graceful, and I feel like he's becoming more graceful. No, he said he's worked on his footwork, he's worked on his mobility, and I've seen it. I notice it.
Just so you know, giraffes are not coordinated at all. No, giraffes are literally like if you call someone a giraffe, it's like you stumble over your feet.
When they walk, they're like they're like graceful.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone has ever like called giraffes graceful. I feel like they're
we look up a
typically
video?
not graceful.
Can we look up a video of a giraffe walking?
Nevi is not that graceful
Type in-
either,
He's
for
not,
what it's
definitely not.
worth.
Just type in giraffe walking,
Giraffe walking.
and you guys tell me this is not graceful.
Okay.
That seems that's we'll
This
call
is phenomenal.
We'll call it a wash. We'll call it a wash.
Look at the first video of giraffe walking.
For the sake of this,
We'll call
for the
it
sake
a-
of the video here, we'll just try to share this
might
video
call it a
of
wash.
this giraffe walking. Shout out to Tim Maxwell.
Oh, Tim should tell us if that
Yeah,
is
I mean, it's a
graceful.
very. You don't even need to like be shown the video. It's just exactly what a giraffe looks like. There's nothing special.
Taking steps.
Let me think of a backup one then. Let's
We
go.
can roll with giraffe because I actually don't think Neemi is like the most coordinated guy either.
No, the coordination's not there.
Definitely takes him a minute to stand back.
I see him as a giraffe.
But he's been on the rim runs more. Like he's been on the lobs more. That's like he's been kind of sliding through the air. Like I don't know. It seems more graceful to me. And I pictured a giraffe walking a little more. I've never seen a giraffe like really up close. So. I've been to Toys R Us though.
So we got a giraffe, a gnat, and what's the
Pose Keegan.
Chameleon.
a chameleon? Yeah, we got quite a squad going on here. Jordi Fernandez is the last one here. Head coach of the head coach of the summer league team, top assistant on Mike Brown's staff. I've really enjoyed interacting with Jordi. Mm-hmm. He seems like a little bit more new to media. You could tell he's being very. Maybe not careful with his wording. I do think so, but he's giving you a lot, and he takes a second and kind of knows that this is getting transcribed and quoted everywhere. I went with genuine. I think that he will tell you. You ask him about a player, he will unprovoked tell you the good and the bad. Say that, I think that Neemi needs to be better on the glass or dealing with physicality while also giving you like the areas that he's good. I think that Jordy's very genuine and doesn't just give you like these BS PR answers.
Yeah, I was going to say personable, which is genuine pretty much. It's just his first press conference when we went to the Kings practice before they actually took off for Summer League, we got to watch the entire practice. That really doesn't matter. But in the post-game or post-practice interview, first thing Jordi does to every single media member comes, daps every single one of us up. When he answers questions, it's a really small thing, but he looks everybody in the eye. He's not giving coach speak, it seems like. You did say he is calculated for sure. That's going to come with the territory. But he also does a really good job, I think, of staying in the moment. And I think it was our buddy Matt George who asked him at the end of the Orlando game, like, hey, fans were booing you when you decided to call that timeout. Like, how did you feel about that? Whatever. And Jordy's just like, is that what happened? Like, I
don't care.
really don't care. Like, what happens is you get a timeout. I called the timeout because I wanted to set up the play. Like, he wasn't, trying to shelter his emotion or anything. He was like, I do not care. Like, I just don't. So I think he's very refreshing and a very personable kind of guy.
I have to do an animal again, don't I?
Absolutely, you do. I'm very excited.
I'm going to go with an animal in the word, which kind of go hand in hand. I'm picking a bull, and I'm going bullish. Because I feel like he's a very, like, not imposing, but I feel like he has, like, that look. Like, I feel like he's a guy that just...
We're good.
Boom. We're back live.
He kind of has, like, that mentality of he's not going to take any I don't want to go over curse. Take any shit from anybody.
Shit.
Yeah.
And I think
Chris will over curse for us.
You can do it for me.
He doesn't want to take any
shit. The eye contact was very imposing. I don't like
I was
it.
doing like Jordi Fernandez eye contact, bro.
No, he looks into your soul when he's talking to you.
Does the bull reference have anything to do with him being Spanish?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just curious. Sorry, I don't mean to call you out.
No.
Like, that's not an issue. It's
Because they charge people and they run people over.
Okay. Fair enough.
You trying to get me in trouble or
No,
something?
that doesn't get you in trouble. It's just the reality of it. It's just the reality of it.
Matadors in Spain. And
Yeah.
No, I just mean he doesn't take any crap from anybody, and he's a guy that is obviously people have talked about he's going to be on like some coaching probably short list in the next couple of years.
For sure.
So,
I think that he interviewed for the New Orleans opening that Willie Green ended up getting.
maybe he'll be coach of the Bulls.
Wow.
Bullish.
Wow. Yeah, look at that. Full circle.
You heard it here first. July 2022.
Called it. Frankie Cartoscelli, insider.
Frankie Ferrari Jr.
Frankie Ferrari Jr.
Actually, I think
Frank Ford.
I think I'm older than him, so never mind.
Yeah. No, definitely got an old team. Okay, real quick conversation on the backup point guard talk. There was a reporting. Was it Mark Spears? I believe that initially reported it.
I think it was McMenamin. McMenamin initially
Okay.
said
Just
Delhi, and then
Right, because courtside at the Orlando game, we saw Davion Mitchell, Chimezi Metu, Kevin Herter. Sitting alongside them was Quinn Cook. Terrence Davis was there, I believe.
yeah, he wasn't sitting next to. He was sitting next to Vivek and ownership.
And then we also saw, I mentioned Quinn Cook, we saw Matthew Dellavedova, and then I was like, who is that guy next to them? And later, it said that Shabazz Muhammad is part of this group, and it's like, holy shit, that is a NBA, that's a player.
Yeah.
I forgot that he existed. Initial reactions to seeing that grouping, and I'm going to throw Dennis Smith Jr. in there as well. We don't know if Dennis Smith Jr. is actually working out for the Kings. Those first three, Shabazz Muhammad, Quinn Cook, and Matthew Dellavedova, are confirmed. But it was said that Dennis Smith Jr. is working out for a handful of teams. I forget exactly who it was that reported that, but that he's working out for a handful of teams in Vegas, and I think he fits the profile for a team that really needs a third-string point guard. So just initial reaction to that grouping, Chris, and is there anybody that stands out among those names?
Well, initial reaction was also your initial reaction, which is I thought it was a typo, and I thought Shabazz Napier was the one that they intended to say worked out for the team. But Shabazz Muhammad is a very interesting name, not a name that I think I would ever expect to hear in NBA circles again, but here we are. I think it's it's a very defined group of guys for sure. I mean, Delhi and Quinn Cook are two very much set in what they are as NBA players. We know that neither of those two guys are going to really compete for any sort of starting job or significant role with the team. And what they would bring to the team is definitely, obviously, a third point guard, but more just someone who in case of emergency, you don't necessarily have to bring up a completely inexperienced guy. Both of those guys have been in the NBA Finals. I think both have been multiple times in Delhi and Quinn Cook. But they've been through it all, and they are just going to bring a steadying presence. There's not necessarily. It's kind of like with the summer league roster in general. It's just a bunch of guys who know their role and aren't trying to do too much and be who they aren't. So I think it's a solid group of guys, and I don't really have any issue with them signing either of them, with the caveat that they don't have big roles.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it's It's not really an earth-shattering decision. I've told you guys off pod. Obviously, I'm not a big Matthew Dellavedova fan. I just don't know if he
Might be an understatement, Frank.
Yeah, I just don't really see what the point is of bringing him in. But I do see positives to Quinn Cook. He's a guy who definitely can be a knockdown shooter on the perimeter. Shabazz Muhammad is someone who was a decent player, a rotation player at one point in his career. I mean, he doesn't really fit the mold of true backup. I don't think he could come in and play 20-plus minutes per game. That's what the Kings are looking for in a backup small forward. I think they're better suited to have Terrence Davis in that position. But and even Terrence Davis is a guard, so like they really need to upgrade their ways. But if that's the roster they have right now, that's what I feel is better. But if I had to make a pick out of those three, it'd be Quinn Cook. I think he's a guy that is a good locker room guy. People have loved him everywhere he's gone. Two-time champion. Obviously, the Mike Brown connection is there. So we'll see what he can do. I mean, Brendan's pulling up his stats right now. I mean, he's a career 40% shooter from three. I mean, what more? The Kings need shooters, like we said, and third string. Because right now, we talked about it. If Davion Mitchell or De'Aaron Fox get hurt, the Kings have
Nothing.
They brought up Justin Robinson last year.
Yeah,
What?
Day Murky, they brought up last year for spurts. Yeah, it really is, because I get why people are like, oh, third string point guard isn't the thing that the Kings should be worrying about right now. Like, sure, there's bigger fish to fry, I guess, right? Like, there's no backup three on this roster. You can make an argument there's no threes on this roster. But I think they do need a third string point guard, and there's nothing wrong with like checking that box, because like Frank is saying, like it's a break in case of emergency type thing. If one of Fox or De'Aaron, or if one of De'Aaron Fox or Davion Mitchell go down, there's no point guards left on this roster. So I think that between these guys, it's not like any of them would be getting significant run in my mind. It would just be in that sort of scenario. And I think Quinn Cook makes a lot of sense. I had forgotten that Quinn Cook was part of Stockton last year for a good amount of time and averaged some absurd numbers during the time that he was there. But he's, I guess, been in their program a little bit, even if it's not quite the same coaching staff, so maybe that gives them a little bit of added intel. He's also best friends with like all the stars for some freaking reason. I think that I like you mentioned Keon Ellis having that dog in him. I think the dog originated in Matthew Dellavedova.
Oh, okay. I was like, yeah, for sure did.
No, oh God. No, so I like Delly and Dennis Smith Jr. is interesting to me as well. Those guys just can't shoot.
Yeah.
And that's where the issue is. Actually, Delly's a better three-point shooter than I thought he was. I think he's about 34%, which is not what I had expected as I pull it up here. By the way, phenomenal nickname on Basketball Reference for Outback Jesus,
Yeah,
Matthew
that's incredible.
Dellavedova. Yeah, career 36% three-point shooter, but I don't really know how to feel. Like, the numbers are so up and down between all of these years. So if they feel like he's a capable shooter, I don't hate it. Quinn Cook seems to fit the mold of, I mean, clearly they're prioritizing shooting this offseason. So I think he's the one that makes the most sense to me. And I'd be really intrigued with Dennis Smith Jr. too, because adding these young guys that also somehow still have more potential, it has been a little bit of a theme as well, with Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter both being young. I think Herter's 22 and Monk is 24, I believe. And Dennis Smith Jr. is pretty young as well. So I could see that, but I think between all of them that I'm leaning Matthew Cook. I'm leading Quinn Cook.
Matthew Cook.
Yeah, and I kind of am curious about Matthew Dellavedova just to watch how Frank would react.
To me, the most interesting thing about Dellavedova is his playmaking. Like, I think Quinn Cook, to Frank's point, is a shooter. I think if you bring him in, you're hoping that he brings you something offensively. Delly, like Brendan mentioned, is the originator of having that dog in him. I haven't seen Delly defend recently.
We haven't seen the X-rays.
Yeah, we have not seen the chest X-rays, so I can't confirm if he still has that dog in him. But it was a guy who obviously in that NBA Finals against the Warriors gave it every single ounce of effort he had, and was an absolute dog on defense. And that's something that clearly the Kings are looking for. It's the reason why I think I could see them bringing in Delly would be, like I said, the playmaking. I think they don't really have, especially on their bench, someone who is, not that Delly really even is a true point guard, but Quinn Cook couldn't necessarily run the offense. He would run the offense in the same way Davion does. So maybe they just bring it in as a change of style kind of guy. The Boston Celtics this year were a prime example of a team who really just needed somebody who could move the ball around the court and create offense for other guys to take the pressure off. But I don't necessarily think that's a necessity for the team. So if I were a betting man, which as we stated I am not, I would probably put my money on Quinn Cook.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Shabazz Muhammad just makes no sense, so I didn't talk about him much. I don't understand why he's part of this list. I genuinely thought, like, could this be a typo and they meant Shabazz Napier, because clearly they're looking at backup point guards, and then I guess Shabazz Muhammad's just part of this group. Shabazz Muhammad, the Shaden Sharp following right in his footsteps over here. All right, overtime segment. I used to do this more often, and I'd kind of faded away, but I want to get back around to doing this. Last thing before we get out of here and get headed over towards the stadium, I think is the next plan here. My overtime segment is not basketball related. Well, not necessarily not basketball related, but a little bit more about us as a way that people can get to know us a little bit more. And what my overtime question is, what would your jersey number be if you were in the league? What is your first number that you would request?
It's in my Twitter name.
And if they didn't have that number, what is your second? Give me a top 3 options.
Okay. 3 is like very important to me. I was born on July 3rd. I grew up loving Allen Iverson.
Really?
Yeah, that was the first non-Kings jersey that I owned was Allen Iverson.
Never would have expected.
Yeah, I love AI. And 3, grew up on 3. So my jersey number in high school was 3, and it's on my Twitter handle. I love it. So my number 1 option would be 3. And if I don't have 3, it'd be 33, just because.
Larry Bird.
Well, I like Larry Bird too, but like Mikey Moore on line 1 wants a word. Mikey Moore and Hassan Whiteside's first time here. So no, it'd be 3, 33, or 9. Because I wore 9 in baseball, because I think an upperclassman took 3 from me. So
Wow.
and it's 3 threes.
Yeah, call that guy out. Do you know him by name still?
I think it was my buddy Boomer. Shout out Boomer for taking 3.
Yeah. Fuck you, Boomer.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Boomer. Chris?
Fuck you, Boomer.
Chris is having a great time. Shout out Wes Wilcox's kids listen to this podcast. So shout out.
I haven't dropping anything, so that's.
Jonah, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
How old was he?
Not old enough for Chris. He knows, but they know what they're getting themselves
You could
into.
probably put some beeps in.
Well,
Fuck, man.
I could.
All right, that's it. I'm done with that. Cut that.
What would your number be, Chris? What's your first request?
25. I don't really know what it is. Maybe it was Barry Bonds that might have started it for me, but it just seems like, you know what is, this is so weird, and this is actually the answer why. Like in 2K, obviously you can cycle through the numbers when you're picking your guy. Like aesthetically, the 2 and the 5 like are the most universal, like solid looking numbers for jerseys. Like, you know, sometimes people have like weird 7s and whatever. And so 20, I swear to God. So 25 to me was just like the most bland, not bland, but just most aesthetically neutral number for me when I would play video games. So I guess that's why. 23 would probably be second, just because obviously that's kind of a goated
you're
number.
that guy.
I got that dog in me, so you know, do I even need to go down the list of 23s? Ben McLemore, Marcus Thornton. I think Lou King wore 23. Did DeMar DeRozan wear number 23?
No. He was 20.
I just know Chicago Bull 23. I was just trying to figure that out.
I'm trying to think who's wearing 23 on their summer league team right now, on the Kings summer league team right now.
I think it's Matt. Isn't Matt Coleman wearing 23?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
It was Norm Powell wore 23 for the Raptors.
Did he?
Or
22.
Van Vliet.
Might have been 22.
Van Vliet's 23.
I really can't answer that. But anyways, 23 for obvious reasons. And then it's kind of a cop-out, which I tend to do, but my third would be either 0 or number 1, just because it just seems like a raw number, you know?
Okay.
When I played volleyball in high school, I really wanted to have X as my number.
You could do that?
X, but no.
Okay.
You absolutely could not, but I really wanted it to just be like
on the
X.
longest yard.
Yes, I was trying to think what movie it was in, but yeah, just to be X Factor. But yeah.
Movie
0.
I've seen. The movie I have
Yeah,
seen.
boom.
Yeah.
With Adam Sandler? The Adam Sandler version,
Yeah.
I assume. Yeah.
Did you know the version?
Yeah.
I
Yes,
don't
but
want to get.
we won't get into that. There was an original version,
There's an
yes.
original version, yeah.
Yeah. Who's the guy? It's
Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds, yes. Do you know who Burt Reynolds is?
I've
Mustache.
heard the name.
Yeah, for sure.
Heard the name.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen a Burt Reynolds movie,
Listen
but
to this person, please educate him. I mean, my lord.
I also don't watch
I'm not
movies,
gonna-
so
The Good and Plenty.
I do want to say that me and Brendan do share an interest of not having interest in movies. Just like a huge gap in my knowledge.
I am not the only one here. I think I'm taking all of the shit.
It's because people don't care about
And there's a handful of people that come up to me and are like, dude, I've never seen any of the things that people are giving you a hard time for. I'm like, then fucking say something, asshole. Like, why am I alone here?
I don't respect you. The Good and Plenty was
God.
enough, but now it's
Yeah, you're
I'm
gonna
moving on.
have to listen to Return of the Roar to hear our little Good and Plenty story. Mine is original. My first request would be number 1, and it's because it's the first number I wore when I was playing basketball growing up. I don't think it's the number I wanted. Yes. So right after I got number 1, I'm like, all right, who's
number one? Yeah.
And I got a Team Mac jersey right away.
For sure.
Orlando Team Mac jersey right away.
And it's pretty. I mean, being number 1 is like, it just looks cool.
Yeah,
It's-
there's just something.
something about
I don't
it.
want to be like the guy that's like, oh yeah, I'm number 1, But I guess that
But
I am
it's-
being that guy.
yeah.
Anthony Edwards.
But it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is Anthony Edwards?
I think he's number 1, right? Anthony Edwards.
If only.
Anthony Edwards? Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Maybe
I
number
don't think
5.
so I don't think he's number 1.
He's number 1.
Really?
Jesus Christ, Chris, get your shit together, man.
I don't pay attention to these things as much as I used to.
You still don't even seem like you believe it right now.
I don't. I'm trying to.
Use this information.
Interesting.
It's not you.
What's his name in Hustle again? They gave him some weird name. Bo Cruz, and it starts like with an F. I don't know.
Ferrari or something.
Yeah.
Ferrari would be a great
They really could have
Yeah.
named him Ferrari.
Yeah.
Anyway, so number 1 would be first for me. Next up would be 9. Oh, excuse me.
9?
Kings
Little
fans are
Tyrese
not
moment
gonna.
there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Kings fans are not gonna like my reasoning. Rajon Rondo was maybe my favorite player growing up.
No, I shouldn't say strangely. People really liked Rondo's time here in Sac.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I had not.
I did
heard
not
that.
enjoy it, but
I
was not one of those people, but many did.
I loved Rondo. I loved Rondo growing up. Big Celtics guy growing up, as people know. And I don't gravitate towards the stars typically, so I ended up going
Hipster.
with Rondo.
Basketball
yeah.
hipster over
Yeah,
here.
for sure.
Damn, you are a basketball hipster.
Yeah. Jesus
Keon
Christ,
Ellis
I
guy.
might be. Wow. Yeah. I'm gonna have to do some self-reflection after this shit. My third one would be number 5. I had a friend that I was really close with that passed away in high school that wore number 5, and so that's my solid reasoning there. And then he also picked it because of Baron Davis, and I grew up loving Baron Davis.
Another guy we saw this
We
weekend.
saw a lot of Baron Davis actually. So yeah, I think that the We Believe Warriors were, I think, the team that initially made me fall in love with basketball. I liked basketball a lot, but my dad was a huge Warriors fan, and watching him yell at the TV until the We Believe Warriors finally did something. Number 5 is going to be my last one.
Number 5, we also could have accepted John Salmons. We could have accepted Pooh Jeter. We could have accepted.
That's a real person, Pooh Jeter.
Pooh Jeter and Frankie Ferrari would be a great backcourt. Frankie and Pooh.
Oh, mean.
Someone named their kid Pooh.
It's a nickname. His name's Eugene.
I'll go by Pooh as well.
Yeah. What? Really? You'd rather go by Pooh than Eugene?
Absolutely. 10 times out of 10.
How about Frank? What about Franklin?
Terrible.
What about Franklin?
Why? Any specific reason?
Franklin is not a good name for a young person. In 30 years, it'll make sense for me. 20 years, it'll make sense for me. Not right now.
I am not a fan of any long full name. Mine, Christopher. Chris.
Yeah, Chris is good.
Franklin, yeah, sure. Franklin might not be good, but Frank is fine. Frankie's fine.
Brendanathan.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not a fan of that one. I guess, yeah.
Brendanathan?
No, yeah. Do we want to stick with that?
Sure.
Brendanathan?
Can I call you Brendan?
You just call me thin. Well, wait, hold on. Maybe not. That's an actual word, and it's too descriptive.
Have some more Good and Plenty.
Yeah. I gotta have a few
And we don't
more.
need to call you that.
All right. I think that's enough. This is our Vegas rant. And again, first part of this with the actual analysis and not just us
And no cursing.
ranting a shit ton.
No
yeah.
cursing.
Yeah.
Eugene,
And this is definitely for the one guy. Yeah, this is definitely for the one guy that always comments on the Kings Beat podcast and says, you guys need to shut up about yourself for the first 10 minutes. And I think his wording was chop, chop, talk shop. Or something like that. That we need to stop talking about ourselves so often.
Maybe you
so
just turn
we
it
spent a
off.
whole
Just turn off the
there's a
show.
fast forward button that I don't think he's found yet. So
You know what's crazy about things you don't listen to and you don't like, or you don't like, you watch, you don't like? You could just turn
it's really
it off.
wild, yeah.
Just turn it
and
off.
so we just made a whole episode talking about ourselves because shout out to that guy. All right, that's gonna do it. Definitely check out the Return of the Roar podcast with Chris Watkins, Frank Cartoscelli, two of my best friends here. I've never actually called them that, and I don't know that I'll ever call them that again. But
on record.
it sounds better for radio here.
Industry friends.
Yeah, so Sacktown Sports 1140.
Sacktown Sports 1140,
Yeah.
shout out.
There you go. So check that out, and of course take a look at the Kings Herald and all the great work going on there from myself and all the other guys and gals. Take a look at their Patreon to support local independent Kings coverage. And if you enjoyed this episode of the Kings Pulse podcast, please subscribe, rate, and review. And you'll hear from us again in the next couple of days.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Ow, my knees.
Was that okay that we were